Okay, almost ready to get started. Mic level check. My wife's laughing in the background on the internet stream. That's great. All right, here we go. All right, good night, good evening, everybody. Getting actually started early for me, just 10 p.m. this time. If you notice, the desktop might look a little different because we have completely reinstalled the Linux machine. We have, let me duplicate this scene here. Duplicate. All right, we're gonna make. Let's make webcam a little bit larger. Transition. I gotta remember this. Memorize this transition here. Transform. Control D. A little bit bigger. All right, everybody. Well, we're back, and after a couple days of just trying to get this thing started, lots of frustration, and I'm almost ready to give up on the Linux box streaming. So I went ahead and did the unthinkable and actually reinstalled the Linux machine. So I took a USB key, put Ubuntu 22.10 on it, and wiped out the hard drive. So gonna have to reinstall some tools. So I thought, well, what's better than to show how to reinstall some tools? So we'll get some tools installed tonight and get it going. So I'm almost on the verge of breaking down and buying some external capture cards or something if this doesn't work out, but time will tell. Let's see here. All right. Well, before we get started, let's outline what we're going to accomplish today. So today we're going to reinstall the machine for Workstation work. So far the machine's pretty much blank. I've installed OBS, obviously. I've got it running over this window over here. I have got the mic working. I've got some Firefox plugins, some shell extensions, changed the color a little bit on the screen. And that's about it. I haven't done a whole lot with it, and we'll do it one at a time together, and we'll build it up. So the first things we're going to work on is we're going to install and set up Git, and then we're going to do Go, Postgres, probably do Golang if we get to it, Visual Studio Code, and Sublime Text, and we'll get all those done tonight. So let's open up a brand new Chrome browser. Look at that, brand new. Haven't done anything with it ever before. And so, trying to get that resized correctly. The bottom of it, almost. Let's just do that again. Come here, down here. Wow, there's the bottom of it finally. It's the nice thing about these live streams, it's just all icky. So if we're going to install Git, I believe there's a Git package on app. So we're running Ubuntu, which is Debian based, which is dpackage based. So there's this app tool, if you don't know about that, but sudo apt search Git, and we'll grep Git just because a lot of things have. I didn't need the sudo actually. Yeah, let's see. I always just like to double check. I think it's Git. SEM. Oh, look at all that Golang stuff. All those packages. If you hear some noise, it's one of my kids in the room, but that's what we get. Live broadcast. Okay, yes, just Git. Apt instance. Now I will need the sudo. To clear the screen, you can type clear. quite often though, I'll type Control L, just a little faster than typing the characters out. Sudo apt install git. Yes, I want to install that. All right. Oh, these are the test files I made earlier. Move 2023. Started videos. A.l sitting here for some reason. Okay. I like to build all. So we're going to initialize a Git repository, and just to confirm everything works. And I know there'll be some Git config things to do. I like to do all my code in directory code. Make directory code. All right, so here's using the branch names. You know, the cool thing to do today is called the main. So we'll go ahead and switch it over to main. And we also want to git config our global username and email address. And I believe user.email is lance@lanceroshi.com. And I believe the other one is username, Lance with a space. So I put quotes around it for the space. We'll get that. So echo stuff to file.txt. Oops. Python to file.txt. I'm just going to create a test file and confirm the git history is correct. Git status, git add file.txt, git commit that message first. All right, git login 1. All right. So all those steps are just to make sure we got git installed and we had the config set up. Notice this one set it with a default of master. Let's clear this repo. Let's go down directory, remove -r test. Yes, I'm sure. RF, force it, I'm sure. Clear. So again, make directory test, change directory test, get init, git status. On branch main. So now we've switched to the main as the master branch. So where all the final copies will go. Next thing we want to do with Git is, of course, connect it to our GitHub account. So let's just go ahead and start that. I don't need this directory anymore. So on this computer, I haven't even set up. Oh, I do have an SSH folder. Let's see what's in there. Nothing. All right, SSH-keygen. All right. What that did, it created this ID RSA and ID RSA pub. You want to take this file, look at the contents of it, and we're going to go take these contents. We're going to put them up in GitHub. I have not logged into GitHub yet. Go do this on my other browser where you can't see. Sign in. That's the one. Two-factor authentication code. Let's see. It's really nice to have these things work securely, but I tell you, it's a pain in the day. Okay, there we are. We are logged in. Hey, someone started one of my repos 2 minutes ago. Cool. Anyway, I think this is legit. We can show. Let's see here. I'm going to go to my settings and here we go. I'll share the Firefox window with you guys. See, I was adding some countdown timers to my studio, but I have several SSH keys added. We're going to add a new key. And it'll be that key that we pasted earlier. And I usually just use this last phrase here. So this is the new machine and the SSH key. All right, and we will see if I can clone one of my repos and make sure it all works. So let's pick a repo that we were working on the other day for testing. Let's see, I don't remember what we called it. Repositories. Sort by last updated. Oh, I didn't push it up. Oh no. Oh, all right. Well, we'll find out if we have the repo later. Let's just grab one of my Vex repos and copy. So I have a Vex robotics programming repo just for some testing, and we'll see if we can clone that. So back to my code folder, get clone and the URL. And this confirmation is it isn't, I don't quite trust if GitHub is correct or not. This could be a point for man in the middle. You have to go check the fingerprint if you want to be really certain, but I'm certain enough. And I've cloned an empty repo into an empty folder. Yay. All right. Git is set up. What other we might want to do next? So let's move on to setting up GoLand. Let's go see what the official GoLand install Linux. Let's see. We're going to remove it, and then we're going to untar a file we're going to grab. Okay. Sounds good to me. The camera's in the way. Can't see that, but we'll go to the downloads folder, so go. There's the downloads folder. And let's remove, I don't have to remove that, but because I don't have any Go installed yet. But we're going to create tar. So to do this, though, we need to be rootish. Yeah, so substitute user do, sudo, that command. There's the program, go. Add bin to the Go path, so all right, we'll add it there. So let's put that in my .profile, and I'll change the profile. Yeah, apply number. Yeah. And then we can type Go version, make sure we have it. All right, let's close this window. And let's open up another terminal. Let's make that font bigger. Let's see. And I just want to make sure that path is set correctly. I can just probably type Go version. Didn't find Go. I don't know if .profile is loaded or not. It's probably my problem. Go bug path. Yeah, it's all snap in stuff. Let's delete out there. Bim.bash. What we got here? We got a bash RC. That's good enough. Let's put it there. There it is. All right. I'll just go ahead and run it here. Go version. All right, we should be good to go for running Go. Code. Let's just make a little hello Go. Vim. Hello.go. Let's see, package main, func, main, no, not func, funk, yeah, funk. Main. Print lin. Hello. Is that correct? Go run hello. Hello. All right, it works. So Go is now installed. We haven't set up a project yet. Now let's see what's next on the list. I've got PostgreSQL. For PostgreSQL, I think we'll just take what's in the apt repo here. We don't need to get cutting edge on that for our use. Essentially, for those you don't know, I'm a application programmer, typically web applications, and I like to use Go for them, and I like to use Postgres for the database. So everyone needs Git. I've installed Go, and now we're going to install Postgres. App search, I think this is Postgres. So let's try it. Sudo apt install Postgres. Like about right. PostgreSQL, docs, Ruby. The font, that font's probably too big if I look over my monitor here. I'll continue, but we will shrink this size down a little bit as it works. All right. So Postgres is running. You can see it starting up right now in the background. Another valid option would be to run this inside a Docker container. We're going to be doing tutorials and things like that, so keeping the complexity down a little bit and minimizing the Docker layer is desirable, so we're just going to install it natively. Now, for those of you who might not know, Postgres, when it installs a Postgres user and is running as the Postgres user right here. And the Postgres user has special powers. So I'm in the sudoers group, as a user on this machine. And I can sudo -u, and instead of going to root, which is the default when you type sudo and you type a command, like sudo who am I? So root ran that. Who am I now? This is Lance. But if I do sudo -u Postgres, it'll be the Postgres user. It's Postgres. So we can do sudo.u Postgres, and then we can issue Postgres commands. Postgres' authentication mechanisms are interesting. And just briefly, I believe it sets them up here in this directory. Yeah, version 14. Should be HB, vim pg hba.conf. So, oops, no, sorry. I have to sudo that. Thank you. And it talks about the different mechanisms of authentication depending on how you're connecting. Excuse me. If you're connecting over the socket connections, on the local connections, it will do peer authentication, meaning that if you're connecting as user Postgres, you're going to be logging in as user Postgres. If I'm connecting over just my user Lance, it's going to be using my user Lance and etc. And there might not be a Lance in the database. Now, if you create a user in the database called Lance, then it will connect as Lance. And then here's like the host connections, and they're using a SHA password mechanism. So let's just confirm that it's working, and it should be working fine. No reason to think not to. Go back to the home directory, my home. All right, if I just type PSQL, it's going to probably say, the role Lance does not exist in the database. So just like I said, it's trying to connect over a socket if you don't specify. If I try to connect over the network, give it a host name, and then it's going to default for a password because it knows it needs to have a password over network connection. No passwords apply. If I give it a fake password, it's just password authentication failed for user Lance. There is no user Lance, and therefore there's no password to match. But If so psql as me doesn't work, but if I sudo -user postgres psql, it's going to connect. Psql is the command line interface to Postgres. It's going to connect as a Postgres user, which should be trusted. And by default, if you don't give it a database, it's going to connect to a database given your name. So the Postgres database, which should be there. And ta-da, here we are in the Postgres prompt. So no tables here or anything like that already. Back quit. So there you go. Postgres is working. We installed it. We are getting ready in the app building series to go ahead and connect our Go app to Postgres. That'll be the next thing. All right. What else is on the agenda? Okay, so time to start installing IDEs. Now, I've seen people use Vim, and there are some good Go language libraries for Vim. I'm old and lazy, though. I like to use something a little more GUI-like. And actually, yeah. But Goland, install Linux. No, I really want Goland. What? Goland from JetBrains. Alright, Go full stack. I have my own license for this. We'll go ahead and install it. And we'll just install the trial right now. I'll go through my email later and take up the license. Wait for that download. While that's downloading, I'm also going to go install Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code, and I like to grab these. Visual Studio Code might be in Ubuntu's apt, but it's usually more recent. I'll just grab the deb here. Extension in. And I like to use Visual Studio Code just for a lot of general editing purposes. For a reason I like it. Oh, and finally, speaking of general editing, Sublime Text. I think they're on version 4. Oh my goodness. Do they even have version 4 for Linux? Download Sublime Text 4. Linux repos. What you got here? We got an app repo, so we can. Yes, please. Copy, paste. And I like to do stable. I'm not building any things against it. And we'll go ahead and run those commands. Looks like it. Let's see if we can go find Sublime. There it is. There's some Sublime text. Yay. Alright, we'll take care of the registration later. And let's bring that back. So I'm just going to go pin it over here. Like that. Okay. Closing out saving. Alright, so we got Sublime Text, Visual Studio Code downloaded. Let's go and do that one. And if you download a deb package, you can still install it with apt. So sudo. But better to move it to temp because it gives you this warning, which I don't know if it means anything. Oops. Move. Where's that file at? There's Goland. There's code. Oh, there it is. Just didn't see it for some reason. Code /temp. All right, and /code. And if the Debian package has any requirements by using app to install it, it will go ahead and fetch those if it can resolve them. Just a handy way to do it. Alright, let's see if Visual Studio Code opens up. Programming. Look at that. There we are. We'll do some high contrast. Always looks better on YouTube. Usually I just do standard dark. If it's daytime, I switch back to light. But don't tell anybody. Let's see. Sync to other devices. Nah. Yeah, I check my code with Git. Yeah. I know how to do that. Okay. And shortcuts. Open a folder. Let's see. I can code. Can I create a new folder for me? Quick. Oh, look at that. Let's see a way to create a folder. I typically don't actually open the projects this way. Vector. Some new project. I usually just type code and go right into it from here, and then boom, yes, and I trust my authors of code. And now, a new project, I can go create a new file. File 1, markdown, file 1. Alright. I don't usually use the Git repo tools in here too much. Unless I'm tutoring people that don't like command line. I really like command line, but I understand it gets difficult sometimes, and I think everyone should learn command line, but stage it. So like, even though knowing to stage it, you don't really know I need to plus stage that to make it commit. So I find the user interface in here mild at best. So all right. I could publish my branch if I had the GitHub extension, but we will install that later. All right, so we got Visual Studio Code, we've got Sublime, and we got to finish off with GoLand. I believe GoLand. Is in my download still? Yeah, there it is. Tar X for expand. I like a little verbose. And F. You used to have to do the ZVF for gzip, but X will try to detect the if there is coding on it. There it is. Look at all that GoLand. Let's see what the file structure looks like. So we've got a big old GoLand directory. Let's see if actually this is Sublime. Unpack it, start the action, do this. Config directory, get this. Optionally, do this to your path so you can do that. Heap size adjustments, Java. All right. What we're going to do is I like to move the GoLand folder to /opt. And so there it is. Got some other packaging in here, probably from Flatpak or something, I'm guessing. We're going to have several versions of GoLand over time, and I like to have a symlink for it in the or desktop entry in the applications and make a pin. It's nice and pretty, but if I keep updating it, move it. So what I like to do is I'll make a symlink. Just call it GoLand. All right, and now oops, and go to the symlink, and when we run the something in bin, I think it was bin GoLand. shell. And I get the JetBrains user agreement. I have read all of that. Don't send. And I'll go grab my, I'll just start a trial and I gotta go log in. Well, if I'm gonna go log in, I might as well go grab it. Log in. Go do this in the other browser where you can't see. License runs out pretty soon. Oh, my subscription ends. All right, exit. And I didn't create the desktop entry, did I? No, I did not. So, with a lot of the JetBrains IDEs, once they start up, let's just do a new project. And I like it, Lance code. And create. I just created this folder here. Did it go mod for me already? What's in there? Just the project and that. Cool. Anyway, the tools, where is that? File, create desktop entries, what I'm looking for here. Well, I do not know. Let's go Google for it. Do it. All right, here is a launcher to do it the old school way. I swear there's a way to do it. Tools, there we go. Create desktop entry tools. Oh, there it is. Looking at the whole time. Sure, all users. I'm the only user, just for me. It's only my license, I won't share. All right. So, off camera, I have go land desktop entry created now over in the programming section of applications, pinned to dashboard. All right, so that's it. I think we're ready to code. So again, wiped out the machine. I was having so many weird problems with audio and even the camera. And the equipment I have is pretty standard. I mean, I'm just using a Logitech webcam. What version is it? It is the Venerable C920. And we've got just a USB microphone from Samsung. And it should work great, should work easy, but it was strange. If I would play audio in Firefox and then Firefox would somehow, I don't think Firefox was doing it directly, but Pulse Audio also somewhere in the stack, it would octave down usually the EQ on the mic and the internal EQ. So I'd be talking an octave lower on the recording. And one time it did do an octave higher for some reason. So that was, couldn't work, figured out, and and it was repeatable. I could open up Firefox, go play any YouTube video. In fact, I could start recording in OBS, mic would sound fine, and then while I was recording, open up a Firefox video, start a YouTube video, and once the video's audio would start playing, the mic would EQ down an octave. I have no idea why. Maybe someone out there someday will see this and go, hey, yeah, but you know. might be a little much to wish for. So that's all I got going for tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in, and tomorrow we will get back to building the Go application. Have a good night.